You know every scar in your home and what caused it. Your children's heights throughout the years etched into the wall. That hole in the floor where your sister poked her stiletto heel through the board at Thanksgiving. Or that time your cat got locked in the master bathroom and he tried to claw his way out under the door and pulled up inches of carpeting. You know what caused everything in your home. But if you'd prefer to make your own memories in a fresh house and not deal with somebody else's mystery stain on the carpet, then new construction is the way to go. Want everything to be brand new and clean and pristine, then new construction is the way to go. And in the past year, I've helped an awful lot of people buy new construction homes, and I've learned a lot. And in this video, we're going to talk about some of the differences that you will encounter in new construction versus resale. So one key difference in resale and new construction is that obviously you can buy new construction on your own. And I want to warn you, if you don't want to buy new construction on your own, be careful about going into the model homes by yourself without your agent. If you've been working with somebody for a while and you trust them and you want to make sure that they're included on this deal to represent you, very often you need to bring them with you on your first visit to the model home, because otherwise they may not allow you to bring a realtor if you come back the second time and say, hey, I'm ready to sign my contract, here's Krista. Do keep in mind that the person working in the sales office is the representative for the builder. They are not representing you, they work for the builder, they are paid by the builder, and they will work in the builder's best interests. Let's get into some of the contractual differences of resale versus new construction. So if I'm representing a buyer and we're making an offer on a used home or a resale home, we typically use in Florida what's called the as-is contract. And what that means is you have the right as the buyer to inspect the home. The seller does not have to make repairs, but if you cancel within your inspection period window, you get your escrow deposit back. Literally no questions asked. You don't have to even provide a reason. And that's a very, very safe contract for a buyer. So let's talk about how that differs from a new construction contract. Well, they're all different. So we have what are called national home builders all throughout Central Florida. So you're going to see names like Lennar, D.R. Horton, M.I. Homes, Toll Brothers, etc. And each one of those is going to have their own contract that's been written by their attorneys, and it is largely in their favor. So some of the differences will be things like, you'll have a closing date written in, but it's almost just an estimation. In fact, somewhere in those contracts, it usually says that the builder has up to 2 years to build your home. They're not going to use the full 2 years. I understand that was put in there because Hurricane Katrina really messed things up for a lot of builders, and they were unable to contractually fulfill the builds that they were working on, and so they probably got sued left and right, and so now they actually give themselves 2 years to complete the houses. And keep in mind that even if you do have a closing date written in your contract, if the home is not complete when you go under contract, that date can change. And most builders expect you to be in town here in Central Florida for your closing date. And that can change at the very last minute. So I did have a lot of struggles this past summer with homes that were supposed to be completed, and then the buyer would take off work and fly down or drive down, and then the home wasn't completely ready. We didn't have the certificate of occupancy. A lot of times it's really not the builder's fault. Sometimes what's actually happening is that the county hasn't done its part, or the city, whatever municipality or jurisdiction the home is located in, or some of the trades haven't come by on time, the work isn't getting completed. Another big hindrance was the availability of things like the air conditioner or certain windows. If you don't have an AC unit or you don't have windows, your builder can't be given the certificate of occupancy. It won't be able to be financed. So those were some of the big concerns that we were facing, the big challenges that we were facing this past summer very frequently. So you're going to have to know that you have to be a little bit flexible at the end. Relatedly, if you want to do a home inspection, which by the way, I do highly recommend, and not just like the week before closing, but throughout the building process, your home inspector has to be registered with the builder. They have to hand in things like their E&O insurance, their license, and then they can get on the schedule to come in and inspect the home. And honestly, if you're waiting until the home is already built to have your home inspection done, your home inspector is really only going to be able to inspect what they can see, the superficial things. The home is new. There are not going to be any like leaks or things like that, which is why it's a much better idea to have those periodic inspections done throughout the build, if it's possible. So let's talk about how you can get out of a new construction contract if you've changed your mind or something isn't working out. So usually you do have a financing contingency if you are using financing. If you're paying cash, it's very difficult to get out of these contracts. Like I mentioned, they are written to benefit and protect the builder, not you. So unless you have a financing issue and you are kind of unable to get a mortgage for the home, let's say your job transfer didn't come through or something to that effect, that's usually a legitimate excuse. I have read where people have come down with very serious illnesses and the builder won't let them out of the contract. It's not the kind of contract you want to go into and then change your mind. Legitimate excuses will be not qualifying for financing, and really that's about it. Now let's talk about negotiations. A lot of times, salesperson who's sitting in the model home, they may have some hidden things, extras that they can possibly negotiate. A lot of times they don't. And they're going to tell you what they can do, especially in the current market when they are a lot more motivated to work with you than they were this past summer of 2022. You can ask for things. A lot of the builders won't get involved in certain things. So what do I mean by that? Like blinds. You could say, hey, I'd really, you're not offering blinds with the house. I'd really like blinds. Some of them can do it. Some of them don't mess with blinds at all, and they're not going to be able to. A lot of builders have gone away from offering appliances because I don't know if we're still facing a shortage or if they just found that they can get away without selling a home with appliances. But a lot of them are not offering a full appliance package. It depends on the builder. So if you're in the lower end, it's a home that's already been planned. You're not going to a design center. Everything's been planned out for you. You're probably not going to be able to get things. You're probably not going to be able to negotiate things into it. If it's more of a slightly custom build where you can choose colors and tiles and you're going to go to the design center, you may be able to negotiate some additional items in there. It's always worth asking. However, more commonly what we're seeing in the current market is builders are willing to give you a lot towards your closing costs. They are willing to buy down your interest rate. They are willing to add in other fees. I call them like hidden incentives because they're not changing the purchase price. They don't want to do that because they don't want to affect future appraisals in the community. And if they sell your home for $500,000 and the same home for $450,000 next month, moving forward, $450,000 is going to be the new price. But they will provide you with sort of hidden incentives, meaning they'll provide you different incentives that aren't coming off of the purchase price. Now, I want you to keep in mind that there are two ways to do that interest rate buy down. One is where they give you a flat rate. Let's say they give you $20,000 and they say you can use this however you want. A better way to do that is to have them promise you a specific interest rate. So if the interest rate right now is like 6.5%, some builders are offering a 4.99% interest rate. Another big incentive for buying new construction is the warranty. So you usually have 1-year warranty on a whole lot of stuff. One thing I like to talk about with the builder while the buyer is present is what can void that warranty. So some builders want you to use their contractors if you're hanging a ceiling fan, and some don't care. If you need a double sink in your guest bathroom and you've only been provided a single sink, if you change that out, will that void your plumbing warranty? Those are the sorts of questions you want to ask. Another thing I like to ask is who is in charge of the warranty? Is it a third party or is it the builder? Who are you going to be calling? Get that information from the builder. They will give it to you. It's very close to the end of the process, but sometimes it's good to know that in advance if you're trying to compare different builders and see what they offer. One of my favorite topics to talk about with new construction is if you are buying in a specific community because you are really excited about upcoming amenities like a lazy river or a huge clubhouse or on-site shopping, make sure that that community is healthy and is really selling a lot of homes, because if that builder backs out or that developer changes, you may not get those amenities. So to summarize, don't be afraid of new construction. If it's in your budget, you should definitely check it out and just make sure that you either are comfortable not having representation or that you have somebody with you who will help you. Make sure you understand and ask the questions about the contract that I've pointed out so that you're not faced with surprises. Keep in mind that it is going to protect the builder and not you. And go ahead and ask for the moon and see what they offer you, because builders right now are definitely ready to negotiate. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time. As always, my contact info is below. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.